Yo guys, what is up? My name is Gian and welcome back to FPL Tribe. In this video, we're going to discuss the best cheap strikers there is in FPL. And for me, some really good picks here. So if you guys enjoy the video, give it a like, give it a subscribe and enjoy. The first striker I want to talk about is Iheanacho for Leicester, coming in at 7.5 million. Really finished the season strong and on a high note for Leicester, chipping in with 12 goals and 2 assists in his games that he played. He didn't start every game. He only came in when there were some injuries to players like Madison and Harvey Barnes. So imagine he played the whole season and he played like he did. He would have been one of the leading point scorers in the tournament. As you guys can see here, expected stats is looking really good. Expected goals per 90 coming in at 0.61. Expected assists per 90 coming in at 0.31. That's almost a return for every 90 minutes he plays. And that's exactly what you want from your cheap strikers, giving you the points, but also offering you the low value in the price tag. So for me, if they continue with the two strikers with Iheanacho and Vardy, he's definitely an option. But I think they will go back to just playing one striker, and that will be Vardy when the midfielders come back from injury. So if you can see that he is starting regular games, he's an option, but for me, it's a wait and see. The second guy on the list, and I think everyone expected this, Toney from Brentford, coming in at 6.5 million. I'm not going to make like I'm an expert on Brentford. I haven't watched one single game of them, but if you ask anyone around the league who's the guy to watch out for when Brentford play, it's definitely Toney. These stats coming in from the championship last season, 31 goals, 10 assists in these games. I think if he can convert half of those into FPL points for you, coming in at 6.5 million, he will be the best point scorer for his price class. If you can just get half of it, you're still looking at around 20 returns for a season. And for me, that's exactly what you want from your player that will be mainly on your bench, that will come in for the easy games, or even if you try and add value to more like the midfield or the defense, Toney is definitely one to add value. So for me, after the first few games, that's not a too bad start. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Brighton, you can definitely expect something from him. But for me, I would want to look at Toney first and see how he plays, not what position, but how attacking he is, how often does he shoot, how much does he get the ball. Because coming up from the Championship into the Premier League is harder than people think. And I think just to watch him play will be the decider for most people. The third player on this list, and definitely someone I'll be looking at, Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa, also coming in at 7.5 million. If you look at his stats, 14 goals, 9 assists in last year's competition, really good. Expected goals per 90 coming in at 0.45. Expected assists per 90 at 0.22. That's really good for me. That's like a goal return every game and a half. So for me, it's definitely someone I'll be looking at. Having some of the best starting fixtures for anyone, Watford, Newcastle, Brentford. He might come out of those 3 games with 50 points at the end of it. Then they turn a little bit to the south side and not having the best fixtures. But I think there's so many options at 7.5 million. You can take a gamble on him for those first 3 weeks. If it doesn't work, you can swap him. If it does work, you can try to see how he looks in the harder fixtures. So for me, he'll definitely be in my first game week squad. It just depends what other strikers I'm going to pair with him. The next guy on the list, Michael Antonio from West Ham, coming in at 7.5 million. For me, a really good option. It all depends on his fitness. As we know, he struggles to stay fit for the entire season. This year, it might even be a worse problem because they have so much extra games. They will be competing in the Europa League this season, and they're not looking like they've got to sign new strikers. So I expect a lot of game time from Antonio, and that's not good for an FPL point of view because he might get injured a lot and he might miss out. But as you guys can see, there's a lot of strikers at 7.5 million. So I'll recommend rotating them, trying to get the best options. Michael Antonio coming in at expected goal per 90 at 0.48. That means he returns a goal almost every second game. For me, that's really good for his price tag. Looking at the first 4 fixtures, Newcastle, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Southampton, I'd expect him to get at least 3 returns out of those first 4 games, and then it might get tougher watching his minutes, or I would say if he gets an injury in those first 4 games, you can just swap him out, but definitely worth taking a risk on. The last guy on the list, Dominic CalvertLewin. For me, probably the best option out of these, and he is the most expensive, I must add. But starting the season really good last season and returning 16 goals and 6 assists out of all his games. Not really too many risk of rotation as he is the main striker. A new manager coming in, so I think he will try and get the best out of Calvert-Lewin. Rafa Benitez playing a game around the striker mainly, as we saw in his previous stints in the Premier League. So I expect Calvert-Lewin to have a really good season. And comparing that with other strikers, he has probably one of the best fixtures for the first 10 games. The start of the season, Everton really has good fixtures. So for me, definitely someone I'll be looking at. And I think he might just end up in my team come the first game week. So guys, that's it from me for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and let me know down in the comments which one of these strikers you will be choosing. And if I missed anyone, let me know who you're considering so I can have a look at them as well. Cheers, guys.